Sentro ang mental health ng mga ina at ng iba pa sa komunidad sa mga usapan lalo't papalapit na ang Mother's Day. Nakausap po ng OMNI News Filipino si Alia, founder ng Mango Mental Health. Kaugnay dito. So Alia, throughout your practice, ano yung mga common na pinagdaraanan ng mga ina dito sa Canada?
I mean, so many. What would I even start with? Mostly, I think we work a lot with life transitions and honestly like mind body connection. Now, I know that sounds like really vague, but what I've noticed with women is that we are very under researched and we aren't taught a lot about like what goes on in our life. So I find that a lot of people are coming in going like, I'm experiencing this, but I'm not exactly sure why. So mental health challenges in terms of like nervous system dysregulation, how are we to care for our bodies, what's going on with my cycle, what are these symptoms that are coming up. These are some pieces that come up.
You mentioned dysregulation, but most Filipino mothers and parents here in Canada juggle multiple responsibilities. And with that, how do they ensure that they have time to protect their mental health?
And I talk about this a lot actually, is that like one, we actually need awareness to these things. And I think that's the thing, right? When we think about immigrants themselves, immigrant moms, like the survival piece is so ingrained that we don't even actually recognize that we're juggling a lot, right? Like as you mentioned, like there's work, there's school, there's our own life, there's all our kids, whatever have you, that we don't even recognize, oh my gosh, this is a lot. So I think that truly like that awareness piece is so important before we can even start thinking about what areas need to be cared for. And so I think when like you ask me like how do we even start looking at our mental health? One, I think that what's really important is like giving yourself time to check in with yourself and believing that you deserve to check in with yourself.
Now that Mother's Day is coming up, this day could mean different things to different people. How can people who struggle with celebrating this day deal with it?
Even though someone is telling you that you need to celebrate this day, if you don't feel like you want to, if when you check in with yourself, you're going, this doesn't feel right for me, don't. And I know that don't, yeah, like I know that may seem like a cop-out answer of just like, hey, like if it doesn't feel good to celebrate, don't. But I don't believe in having to push yourself through something that doesn't feel good for you. Now, with that being said, if you're feeling as though you can't just say no, if you feel like you can't tap out, I like to think about what are your protective factors, right? When you do a really hard thing, how do you fill up your cup? What is necessary for you to do a really difficult thing? And so maybe your Mother's Day celebration is going for brunch and you don't really like usually sharing meals with your mom, or that's a really tough thing to do. I always ask my clients, for example, okay, what really grounds you? What is something that you can do for yourself either before then, so you're walking in grounded, you're walking in okay, or what's something that you can look forward to after that, right? Giving yourself time constraints. You do not have to spend the whole day with your mom if that's not something that you want to do. For those individuals who don't have moms to celebrate, right? Lean into love, lean into other areas where you feel that love. This does not have to be a day where you have to celebrate, right? Maybe it's actually grieving, maybe it's honoring, like what's something that actually allows you to feel that connection with your mom if that feels more aligned.
We mentioned earlier that Filipinos shy from talking about mental health. With that being said, how can families, especially mothers, start this conversation about protecting their mental health?
I will be honest, I think that generationally, I would say it's usually the kids bringing up these conversations first. And like no shade to them, to moms. I'm truly speaking from, again, like just the clientele that I work with, or even in my own experience. I think like we're, especially as Filipino Canadians, right? Like this conversation is less stigmatized and we're having to kind of bring it to our moms perhaps. And so maybe it's not moms bringing it up, but I think inviting moms to be open, in inviting that sort of permission to learn something different, and be open to change. I think that's how the conversation will continue. The moment that we shut it down or we continue seeing it as we're bringing this up because we don't like you or we see something wrong, that's usually when things will take a pause. But really looking at like, what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this conversation? It's usually because we're trying to become healthier individuals.
For Mother's Day and after Mother's Day, what can you advise? How can mothers take care of themselves and prioritize protecting their mental health?
One, for people who aren't parents, I think it really is something that we need to be aware of can we ask those people in our lives? Can we ask our moms, hey, how are you doing? Do you need support? This doesn't have to fall on you, right? And then on the other end of that, moms ask for help, right? I know, oh, like I know that's so hard. And I think that sometimes there can be this like misconception of like, well, this is my role and this is my responsibility, so I have to take it all on. But we have that sort of piece of or like that saying that it takes a village. And I feel like once we ask for help and then also allow ourselves to receive that help, that's going to be a game changer for protecting our mental wellness because we have people checking in on us. That conversation is open now. And my hope is that we can start being honest when we are not feeling 100% okay, because we can't make change without that awareness.
So we have to allow ourselves to receive help graciously. Thank you so much, Alia Chan. Again, Alia Chan is the founder of Mango Mental Health.